Marcus, how did you assess the running backs when you watched the running backs and the quarterbacks when you watched
the running backs and the quarterbacks?
Yeah, both of them.
Good. I think we went into that scrimmage, talked a little bit before that about the multiplicity we've got in the backfield and the depth. Getting a lot of guys, a lot of reps. I think we've got some guys that can do a little bit of everything back there. It's going to be a little bit of a by committee in that role, and I think there's going to be good. I think we're going to ask a lot here in the second half of camp about really running the football and being demanding and getting to what we know we've done here in the last few years. Because we've run the ball really well, and so I think we press a little bit here in the second half and really start to load up and see what we can do, without beating ourselves up. But I thought those guys did a nice job. Quarterbacks had a lot of reps. We got live situations, got real series calls, got some situational football, moved the ball, had a couple explosive plays, made some good decisions, threw it away, and then had a couple we need to have back, critical errors. Ball placement, being ready for a snap on a ball maybe we could have got to if we could just dive on it. But I think at the end of the day, these guys have had close to 600 reps once you get there on this practice. We're batting anywhere between 70% completion in practice without being hit. I understand that, but I've done this a long time. I've tracked every throw for the last 15 years of my career and know exactly where we should be on pitch counts and where that sliding scale should be, taking care of the football, play and catch. Now we really hone in on some distinctives, situational football, red zone, cover zeros, certain exact beaters, how to signal certain things. And first year as a quarterback, that becomes a lot when you're drinking through a fire hose, right now.
So I'm assuming that you put in perspective the red zone turnovers, the red zone penalties, because it really has not been a trend from fall camp day one until Saturday.
Yeah, I put it in perspective, but at the same time, we're completely maniacal about it at that point, because that's the only way we get a growth curve going, right? It's like you can't hold on a swing screen that walks in, right? The first one that walks in and we get a holding by young player, right? Got to move our feet. A ball placement on a go ball on a fade down in the red zone versus a tight corner. It's the margin for error down there goes so small. And when you're not playing, when you're playing a pretty even football, you've got to play really well, and you can hurt yourself down there. There's certain things you don't have in, and we're not doing certain stuff as far as what exactly really gets down into it. But we have perspective on the whole thing, but we've still got to coach the hell out of it because it's super, super important. It's turnovers, it's critical situations, it's red zone touchdowns. And our guys understand that. They came out today with a good response, and they understood what we need to get done.
You mentioned the completion rate. Where has the Jeopardy throw rate been with this camp relative to your total experience?
Define Jeopardy throw.
Like what you would consider to be a throw that was at risk.
Okay, so a Jeopardy throw would be at risk, would be throwing a ball into a two-on-one situation.
Bad decision.
Throwing a ball into coverage.
Yeah.
Throwing a one-on-one ball is not a Jeopardy rate. That's a ball placement issue. Throw a ball in a one-on-one situation. Let's use an RPO example. That's where the ball accuracy becomes. It's not Jeopardy, it's ball placement. So you grade that one as a ball placement versus Jeopardy. Because a one-on-one right now with our guys, we're going to put the ball out there. It's exactly where it's got to be. That's what we'll judge. Ball into double coverage, that's a whole nother story.
Okay.
Ball into a certain spot where a certain window that's not available, that's a Jeopardy throw. For the most part, right now, there's not a ton of Jeopardy throws. There's going to be some ball placements with 2 RPOs in the end zone that were one-on-one catches if it's in 6 inches and we're away from our body. That's the ball we want. You got big-time guys outside at this level. You got to play one-on-one football. We got to put that in the exact spot for those big guys.
So pretty low for the actual bad decisions.
Actual bad decisions. True mental errors and critical errors with balls into coverage have been low. Oh yeah. There's not a ton of. We're not out there right now throwing into things we're not well aware of.
Can you say that it's come down to Cutter and Mikey? How much of it comes down to you tracking each throw and kind of where everybody's at as far as the metric goes to determine?
Yeah, without getting into the minutia of it all, the way that we usually break it up is the way that you can see it. You can see it in totality, then you can see it in Skelly, you can see it in team, then you got to go to just the ones, right? Them with the starters, them with the guys who you think are the first tier, then those guys, them with the second tier, and you got to kind of build a little portfolio that says, okay, where are we really at? Because if I'm throwing and working with another group that's maybe I don't have much time in with, and I'm in there doing something and its protection's busted or whatever, I need to see where the meat and potatoes are right now. So when we're with the Maroons right now, that's really, the Maroon group's our one group. That's where I'm really honing in on that area. That doesn't mean that we go out there another group and we throw a bad ball. I'm not crazy about it. I'm going to lose my head about it. But when it comes down to trying to see efficiency and who's moving the ball, where the chemistry's at, I really hone into these team series, call-it periods, situational football with the bulk group. And that's where you can see where Mikey and Cutter have really started to push themselves in a position to be those guys right now. And that's what's going to happen here in the second half of camp.
What are the benefits to you once the competition is over and there's a clear-cut number one guy? in terms of being the OC and trying to get done what you need to get done?
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time. It's once you define the starter and you recognize the starter, and now it's getting him all the reps with that all the reps with that group. Their extended drives. If you got a 6-play rack, it's not 3 and 3. It's all 6, right? He's getting all the chemistry with that center, all the chemistry with the tackle, all chemistry with that maybe 1 and 2 back. All the timing with the receiver starts to add up, and so if you do that in the second half of practice, you may have doubled the time he's had with that certain Y or that X. And that helps you game plan. That helps you get, okay, we really feel good about this. You find out what he really likes as we go into the second half of camp with certain guys. You can build the game plan around a starter a little bit more tightly, if that makes sense. That, and you start to put pressure on a guy that, like, it's your ball. Like, you got out there, it's your ball. Now let's see how you react. You know, certain guys and young guys, I haven't been a young guy, but a freshman starter, sometimes you got to have a foot up to here in them because they can't take their foot off the gas now that they may have won the job, and so that's where the mental component comes in and our spark comes in. So, but I think they'll do fine. I think once we go in that direction, I think both these guys, all 3 of these guys, are going to understand those role, and 4 are going to understand the role in regards to what we need to do to move forward. They've been awesome with that. Charity's been really well.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah.